Last
Hey.
time we spoke was at the Avengers Endgame junket, and I asked you about Black Widow, and you said, until I'm at Crafty eating turkey cold cuts, like I'm not gonna, this isn't happening yet. So it's crazy. We're like here now.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's also, I mean, I still feel that way. I'm like, until I am, on the set and the first AD is screaming action, that first day, I just never think something's going to ever come to fruition. I think that's just part of being an actor for hire, is that you just are always sort of like, do I have the job or not sure? It's like ingrained in all of us. And I'm still kind of pinching myself that this movie is actually really now finally coming out.
Well, we're all pinching ourselves. It's incredible, by the way. So congratulations to both of you. My first question is for you, Scarlett. Obviously you're reprising this character. And I think a question that pops into a lot of people's heads is, how do you go back to this version of Natasha? What was important for you to bring to the surface about her? And like, what new versions of her were you excited to explore?
It was a really unique experience of working backwards, because when we were shooting Endgame, we knew obviously what her ultimate sacrifice would be, and wanted to make sure that that felt like a choice, and came with peace for her, and that she was okay with. She says that to Clint. She says, it's okay. And she means it. She means it. She had to have had she had to have reconciled something within herself. And so we knew that this was the opportunity to make that happen. So, but we knew, okay, at the end of this film, there has to be self-forgiveness so that she can move on to that place. And and then it was really just kind of chipping away at it and finding the best way to tell that story. And make it dynamic. And of course, what better way to do that than with a poking and prodding younger sister character who's like, oh, you don't want to look backwards? Here it is. Here's your mess. Like, you have to face it, And she drags Nat kicking and screaming through that process.
Wild. Yeah. Well, speaking of your character, Florence, I think you guys definitely found the best way to tell that story, by the way. But Florence, this is your character's first introduction into the MCU. Are you still geeking out a little bit? Like, how do you feel? Like, how is this experience for you?
Totally. I mean, we made the movie 2 years ago now. It was crazy that I even got the job, and then crazy that I was even on set, and then crazy that we even wrapped. And then, we were about to release the film, and then the pandemic happened. And so there's just been a lot of like this stop, start, is this real or is this surreal? And I feel really excited now to show people what we made 2 years ago. Because, I watched the movie the last week, and even though it was on my laptop and my laptop doesn't go very loud, I was just so impressed and so excited. And so I was so happy that I loved the film, and I would have loved the film whether I was going to the cinema and I had nothing to do with it. Like, I was just so proud of it. And the fact that this is my first, here I am, welcome to the MCU. I was just so amazed with all the work that we put in, and just how enjoyable it was to watch.
It makes me happy to hear you say that you're so proud of it, even on a small screen. I can't wait for you to see it on a big screen, because I was so proud, as a woman watching it, hearing you guys have conversations about reproduction, even the little jokes that you guys made to each other about the vest. I was like, this is a conversation I would have with my friend in a car. It honestly, to see it in an MCU film was like, mind blown. How does it feel to you guys to be a part of this project? Because this is the most female-centered MCU movie I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, that was our goal when we really looked at, okay, all right, we don't have to tell this story. We're telling it because we want to. Okay, so that's really liberating. It's daunting in some ways, but it gives you all this free reign. And we'd be amiss if we didn't reflect on what's happening in the zeitgeist, and you know, how empowering it is for women to be lifting each other up out of a situation, and you know, and strengthening one another and supporting one another. I mean, there's definitely another version of this that would be the, you know, movie that we probably would have made 10 years ago, which is like, you know, two women facing off to gain power. And, you know, that's not how women react to one another or relate to one another. How much more interesting is this story, you know, to really see women coming out the other side as survivors from some shared traumatic experience that, you know, they both, or they all have, you know, have had to face, and something that's been holding them back that they can now move forward from. Like, that's just incredible, you know, that we were able to be in a place where the studio would support that message. You know, it's been a long journey to get here, and it's exciting to know that we're never going to be looking backwards. It's just going to be moving forward.
I was just gazing at her and nodding the entire way through. Yeah, exactly. I think like, I don't know. I think from my perspective, coming on board to something this bold, but also this female, is such a luxury that it's kind of going hand in hand with it then being a massive movie that lots of women and men will go and watch. And, you know, it tackles so many subjects and in such a wonderful way where you really can't look away from it and you have to listen. And it's all information that you can swallow and you can digest, and you can also enjoy this movie about family and about these two sisters. So yeah, I'm just incredibly grateful that Kate Shortland directed it, that Scarlett is obviously at the lead and produced it. And we really had so many amazing women on set also guiding this film into the right direction. And so even though it's obviously really cool that it's a big Marvel superhero film, I think if you took that away, it would still be just as impressive. And that's really exciting.